Tintin XL 92.5 FM.
All right, welcome in. Glad you're along for the ride. The New Drug today is our second day with my friend Ryan O'Halloran, the columnist from the Florida Times-Union. And we have news on a Friday afternoon on the First Coast, Ryan. Have you heard? Have you heard there's news?
I have, and when you're doing radio at 4 o'clock, you don't mind a Friday afternoon news dump.
No, you prefer it.
The beat writers in us did not like it.
I get it. If you have been paying attention, you know by now that Mason Smith, a second-round pick from the Jags, was traded to the Falcons for, hope I'm saying it right, Rookie Orororo. I think it's Rookie. It might be wrong. It's either Rookie or Rookie. Orororo, but he's a defensive tackle. That he was taking 13 picks after Mason Smith. So two guys that didn't pan out for the two defensive linemen that didn't pan out for their team. So the two teams swapped them, right?
Yeah, I like guys with the initials RO, so he's got a plus there for me. You look at Atlanta, they have a new staff, a new system on defense, a new GM, and they are moving on from guys that they didn't acquire. You look at the Jaguars in the second year of their administration, they are moving on from a guy that they didn't think was a fit moving forward. And the other takeaway for me is, besides what you said, change of scenery trade for both guys, is that player for player, James Gladstone, who really had no interest in acquiring any more picks in next week's draft. Instead of he just, hey, let's move on from Mason Smith. And, this doesn't mean they won't draft a defensive tackle in the second or third round on next Friday night, but it does give them some flexibility.
Yeah, Orororo is originally from Nigeria. He played at Clemson collegiately. He's 6'4", about 300. He is a guy that probably could be that three-technique guy if that's what you wanted him to do. And now he gets a chance with the Jaguars. I will say this about this regime, and I like this about we talked about how there's a boldness to them, the way they play. Clearly, James Gladstone, there's a boldness. He traded his first draft here. He traded up 3 picks to go from 5 to 2. So there's a boldness there. And I'll say this, Ryan. They're not afraid of who they don't. It doesn't matter who brought them in. Mm-hmm. This is not a front office that they're going to run off someone that they didn't bring in because they want to stick with their guys. They brought in De'Ami Brown. They figured out pretty early on they had missed, didn't play him, and moved on. So it's not like they just said, well, we got to play De'Ami because we brought him in. This group's pretty good about that. I really believe that.
And then, to add to that, they did not acquire Cole Van Landen last year.
Correct.
But they saw something, gave him a shot, and then signed him to a contract. So, this is, the big cliche is this is a production-based business. This is what this team does right now in the front office and coaching staff. Don't care where you're drafted. Don't care your salary. Don't care your name. We're playing the best guys.
I will tell you, I was not surprised, and I would not be surprised if he's not the last player traded.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, would not be surprised. So, and I'm not surprised. Now, I'm not going to go predict, hey, they're trading player X or they're trading player Y. Who knows? There's no way of knowing who a team might trade, right? But it would not be. I would not, given the point you made earlier about this pick and that, they got 11 picks.
Yeah.
Would not be surprised if they moved another player.
Well, I'll throw out the offensive line guys.
Okay.
We talked about the O-line yesterday and running everybody back. Let's say you get to day 3 of the draft and a team is saying, man, there are no tackles or guards left on the board.
Right.
All the Jaguars, we'll give you a 5th next year for Walker Little.
Yeah, I would think the depth on the offensive front gives them some flexibility.
Mm-hmm.
They're with a guy like, Milam and Monheim just got here. They're not likely to trade them, nor do they have a lot of value. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the fact that they've got depth there, anywhere you have some appreciable depth, I think I could see that. So it wouldn't shock me at all.
And since by the time the draft happens, compared to when we visited with them in Phoenix, probably just a couple days shy of a month.
Yeah.
So I think that gives them a little bit better idea on how Van Landen's coming along from that right knee injury he sustained January 4th. So if they feel like he's going to be ready to go, and Milam, can he be a swing guy? That makes Little and his salary expendable. And let's face it, if you get anything for him, I just want that contract off the books.
Yeah, and I'll say this about, if you're focused on an offensive line guys, I will tell you this. I think their plan will be, and again, they'll tell us if we're right about this or not. I think their plan will be Cole Van Landen is the left tackle, and Anton Harrison is the right tackle. At one time, I thought they'd flop those guys. I think Anton Harrison, who played so much left tackle at Oklahoma and just appears to be his body shape, his athleticism a left tackle. I thought at one point he would one day be and I've said that on air, so it looked like I was going to be wrong about that. I thought at one day he'd be their left tackle. I don't think so now. I think Cole Van Landen, if healthy, to your point, I think he's going to be their left tackle. That's my opinion. And I think Anton Harrison's going to be their right tackle. So if that's correct, to your point, and if Wyatt Milam is going to be their swing guy, yeah, then they've got enough depth then that Walker or whoever else could be expendable. We'll see. Now, again, the flip side of that, Ryan, is Walker Little went in and played right guard last year and was really good.
Yeah.
And so he was a veteran guy that went into a position that's not his natural position. He played in the inside, and he was really good. So they also have to ask the question, if we move on from this guy, are we giving away something you rarely have in the NFL, which is legitimate depth? The NFL is the no-depth league.
Yeah.
You never have depth in the NFL. So you'd be giving that away.
Yeah, and to me, Milam is an interesting guy because you don't know about him. I would expect in training camp he's going to play all over the place. Guard, tackle, maybe probably not a lot of center, but you always want to get him snaps everywhere. And okay, what does this mean for Patrick McCarry? How is he going to hold up physically? Because they got to have a contingency plan at right guard because they got sort of caught in a little bit of a bind last year, having to move Little to that spot in the middle of a game in Denver. So, things will define itself next week during the draft if they add any guys. But I think if they can add some things to their draft cupboard for 2027, that would be I would register that as a win for Gladstone.
All right, so we got a lot of things to talk about today. A lot of NFL, and again, Pete Prisco joins us in about 5 or 6 minutes. So we'll ask Pete about the Mason Smith trade, what he thinks about Ororo, what he knows about him. Was he surprised by the deal? We'll certainly talk about that coming up later on. I got all kind of stuff I want to get to. So I saw something last night, JJ, and someone's gonna have to explain this to me. So Thomas Houck, they're hoping he comes back, right? So one of the guys did the fake thing, they made it look like it was Thomas Houck's Twitter feed, and they did the graphic, I'm coming back, and it was really well done. Did you see it? Did you see it on Twitter?
No.
Did you see it, Ryan?
No.
They made it look real. They changed one letter in his name, and it turned out and like Jimmy Dykes fell for it. And why do you do that? Is that like a thing among the boys? Hey, let me see how many I can get, how many people I can fool.
Yeah, people have been doing that. Chaps,
Yeah.
I remember, who was a Jaguars fan online, is doing that for years.
But what is
hilarious.
Just for kicks?
Yeah,
The
it's
kick-
funny to hear Joe Coward on the air read off from No 3 Sports.
Yeah.
From Pete Nokos instead of Pete Nakos, which he did a couple weeks ago, and it was hilarious.
Yeah. Okay.
The kick is
it doesn't. By the way, it doesn't bother me. I don't care. But I don't find myself chuckling. I'm just like, okay.
your guard's
for
got to
me.
be up. Your guard's got to be up because the reason these guys do that is so they can text their buddy, Jimmy Dykes fell for it.
Exactly.
Isn't this awesome?
That's the funny part. Getting someone.
I guess maybe that's it. Maybe it's just no different than a video prank, right? I guess it's I'm like
online, whatever.
Yeah, I guess okay. But again, there's a lot of stuff that I don't completely get from our friends on social media. JJ, you and I've had this talk before. There's
friends.
There's something from our friends on social media I don't always get. All right, so we got a lot of things to talk about today. We'll start. Did you see where the Padres are about to sell for $4 billion?
I did see that.
$4 billion. I mean, is that where we are with franchises?
Well,
the Padres they're not in a super big market. They're not a tradition. They don't have great heritage. It's a beautiful market, but it's not a.
They have a good stadium, but it's not necessarily brand new either.
But they have a great stadium.
Yeah.
But if this was the Dodgers or the Yankees, and I want to get into it later, but the Padres.
Well, these are the same owners as Chelsea Football Club, so they wanted to get into the American sports scene.
Right.
It is not a large market club, but there is something to be said for status of owning an American sports team. And also that city is a gem. And I think they see that stadium as a revenue generator for other things.
And I've been told this too by people in those markets that number one, the city's fantastic, but beyond that, they're not a big market, but they're a 2-hour and 10-minute drive from a gigantic market. Mm-hmm. And I think that plays a little bit. I think if it was the same size market just outside of Kansas City, it wouldn't be the same as the same size market 2 hours from Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And we'll get into a little bit.
It's also their only sport.
Yeah, and that true. And that
now that the Chargers are
yeah.
Well, and as you know, Frank, last November, that stadium hosted Survivor Series.
Yeah. Oh, well, I didn't know. Is Survivor still there? By the way, do you realize Hacker was here 2 days, never talked about Survivor?
He's not even talking about Survivor.
not?
He's talking about a wrestling
Oh,
thing.
I have no idea what that is.
It's another pay-per-view.
Yes.
Thank you, JJ.
So wait a minute. There's WrestleMania.
Imagine if they had Survivor in San Diego. That wouldn't be much of a...
There's WrestleMania and Survivor Series? Is there anything else?
It was called Premium Live Events. There's one a month. So you get your SummerSlam.
I didn't know you were a wrestling guy.
Oh, I've been...
Always. I knew Baloo was. I know Hayes is sort of a quiet one, but he is. He just doesn't. Hacker leads the charge.
Hayes, me and Hayes were talking about WrestleMania yesterday, so we're just totally underwhelmed by it. But
by the way, I am going to talk about WrestleMania later today because Chris Wayne said he'd give me $1 if I did. I'm not turning down $1.
Nice.
He actually showed the dollar.
Well, you're talking about it right now.
Yeah. Well, am I good?
Yeah.
I'm good now. So.
It counts. It counts.
We'll take a break. Pete Prisco joins us a little bit earlier than normal. Pete's going to be with us coming up in just about 4 minutes right after our break. We'll talk about the Jaguar trade and a whole lot more of NFL stuff. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Home of 2 naval air stations and 1 sports radio station called 1010XL. This is Jacksonville.
Owning a house is kind of like being in an argument with your house. One day, it's the AC saying, I'm tired. The next day, it's the plumbing going, good luck finding that leak. Then the septic system joins the conversation. And nobody likes what it has to say. That's when you call Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. One team that handles all 3, plumbing, septic, and air conditioning. So the next time your house tries to win the argument, call Duck Duck Rooter. 904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com.
It's the event everyone waits for. Now at Beard's Diamonds. Buy one, get one free on all wedding bands. Save up to $10,000. Beard's has case after case of designer bands for men and women. White gold, yellow gold, rose gold, titanium, and platinum. Buy his, get hers free. Buy hers, get his free. The big box corporate jewelry stores can't do this, but Beard's can. Buy one wedding band, get the second one free. Now through April 19th. Beard's Diamonds, your local jeweler at St. John's Town Center.
Hi, folks. Frank Frangie for the farm at Okefenokee. My wife and I and a bunch of friends just got back from the farm, and we had an incredible experience. We toured the regenerative farm, as well as the beautiful handcrafted cabins, and were treated to a fantastic farm-to-table dinner created by Congreve and Penn. Man, was it good. Well, you can learn more at okefarm.com. That's okefarm.com. And even hear my interview with farm co-founder Doug Davis to learn even more about this amazing property. That's okefarm.com.
Life happens every day, and sometimes it gets in the way. That's why 1010XL makes it easy to listen to your favorites. If you missed it, get it on demand.
At 1010XL.com.
Channeled by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning.
Looking for an exciting, fun-filled evening the whole group can enjoy? Welcome to indoor football. Welcome to the Jacksonville Sharks. Discover the thrill of the indoor league. Fast-paced, action-packed, and it's family fun. Be there when your Sharks take on the Orlando Pirates. Friday, April 17th at the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Kickoff, 7 o'clock. Halftime performance by the world-famous Disconnected Canines. Ask about our family 4-packs. 4 tickets and $50 in food vouchers, all for only $100. There's no better value. Get your tickets now at jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. It's Country Night presented by Roland Reese Plumbing. Dust off your boots, throw on your camo, get ready for a night full of football fun and great music. Join us on the field after the game for our free autograph session, sponsored by Flight Adventure Park. Tickets start at $15. Call 904-621-0700. That's 621-0700. Sharks football, where memories are made. Go Sharks! Fins up.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental, with light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, located in Bartram Park.
Been in a car crash? I'm local attorney Rick Alexander, and I've made it our mission at the Alexander Law Practice to listen to you so I can fight for the best possible result for you. I've been practicing over 30 years, and our team focuses on guiding you through the entire process. And because fees and reimbursement costs come out at the end of the case, I will never ask you to come out of pocket. For a free review, call 904-400-6600 or log on to alexanderlawpractice.com, Jacksonville.
The best value for golf in Jacksonville remains Cimarron, totally reestablished with new tee boxes, improved fairways and greens, also a brand new restaurant with indoor and outdoor settings, and live music. Join the Wild One loyalty program online at Cimarron Golf. When's the last time you played Cimarron? Cimarron Golf Club on 210, the Wild One.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Here's another call on the 1010XL hotline, driven by Key Buick GMC, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
Time for all things Jaguars and NFL with Pete Prisco. The Prisco Report, presented by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Showtime.
On the Frangie Show.
All right, we do thank our friends from Showtime. I do want to remind you now, next Tuesday from 5:30 to 7:30, Ezra Cleveland, the Jags left guard who played so well last year, will be signing autographs at Showtime. 5:30 to 7:30. Advance autograph tickets are available right now, so head to Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles, the corner of Phillips and Shad. You can see him on the social channels, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And again, Ezra Cleveland there at Showtime next Tuesday. So head in there. And Showtime always brings us our Pete Prisco report. Pete is, of course, from CBSSports.com. Pete, the Jags moved Mason Smith today for, I think it's Rookie Ororo. I hope I'm saying it right. What do you make of the deal? Were you surprised by it?
I can't wait to hear you on Sundays saying that after he makes a tackle.
Yeah, well,
you didn't have to worry about saying Mason Smith.
Yeah, as I told you years ago, because I still don't get his name right. But when the cornerback, say it for me, Pete. The Dolphins corner, Igbenogany. When he's out of the league, I'll be a happy guy. Okay, that's the one I've been trying for his whole career. So there's that. But what do you think of the trade?
I mean, look, they weren't happy with Mason Smith, so you get rid of a guy who wasn't your draft pick, who underachieved and didn't come close to being what they thought he could be, and you get a guy in who's, he can push the pocket a little bit. He had 3.5 sacks last year, but he hasn't been great either. So it's kind of like you get rid of yours, and I'll take yours, and you take mine, and see how it works out. But it's look. Did they want to get rid of Mason Smith? Absolutely. And making that deal gives them another body in there that they can, don't have to force a pick in the draft.
Pete, excuse me, Ryan. Pete, have you seen instances like this before where a guy, I mean, a lot of times we'll see a guy with the next start, the light goes on for him, the second place. But I don't know that I've ever seen one of these where two guys are looking for the next place so they get traded for each other. Have you ever seen one of these?
Off the top of my head, I can't think of one, but there's been these trades before. I mean, sometimes guys need new scenery and a better fit, and so I think that maybe that's why. You look at the kid from Atlanta is only 24 years old. I mean, it's not like Mason Smith's an old guy either. So you're right. Maybe this is a flip where you can see some guys, when they get into their new situations, it's better for them. I mean, he was 3.5 sacks, 25 tackles last year. He wasn't awful. 6 quarterback hits. And they want to get some more pressure on the interior. So he's not a great run player, which is, that much we know. He's not a very good – he's not great at the run game. He's better pushing the pocket, which is why I think they made the deal.
Pete, with the 56th pick, does this sort of make your priority for them the same, that they need to address defensive tackle once again, even if they have to move up a couple picks on Friday night?
I don't think they need to force it, Ryan. I think what you need to do is if you're bored sitting there and you see an edge you like, you take them. Mm-hmm. If you see a defensive tackle you like, you take them. If you see a linebacker you really like, and again, I don't necessarily think that's a major need, you take them. But I don't think they need to force the board. I'm with you, though. They need to get somebody on the interior of that defense who can push the pocket. Armstead's not going to be there forever either. So I think that makes sense. To grab one, but I don't think you need to force it. If you have your board and you're sitting there and you have a pass rusher who you really like, and he's ranked 10 spots ahead of the defensive tackle, then I think you take the pass rusher and you worry about the defensive tackle later on.
I will say this, Pete, and I've always over the years I've chuckled at the value over need thing because everybody drafts the player where they don't have a good player. All right, so I've always thought value over need. I got a little bit of a chuckle out of it. But I will tell you, in this instance, I do think, and that's the point you just made, I think, but I think that really is where they are. I don't think there's a lot of – that doesn't mean the roster's built. There's certainly some areas – we know that. We know three technique, weak side linebacker. We know the spot, backup tight end. We know the spots. But I do think they're so far from dire in any of those spots, Pete, that this will be more value over need than any Jaguar draft that I can remember. You agree with that?
Yes. You don't have to force anything. And that's a sign of a good football team. Now, are they a great football team? No. But that's why this draft is so important. And I think particularly on the defensive side of the ball, I think you have to address defense as many times as you can. Now, it doesn't mean you don't draft an offensive lineman or two, because you can never have enough of those guys. But I do think that the focus will be on the defensive side of the ball. And edge, defensive tackle, those have to be the priority. They have to be looking for guys who can get to the quarterback, because even though you have Trayvon Walker and you paid him, even though you have Josh Hines-Allen and you paid him, the pass rush still isn't as good or close to being what they want it to be. And in an ideal scenario, on third down, you have Walker rushing inside with a guy you can put on the outside who can rush the passer with a little more twitch. And I think that's what they're going to look for in this draft.
Pete, the second biggest story in the NFL today was the Will Anderson contract. This takes him through his age 29 season. If you're C.J. Stroud, what is your reaction to this in terms of your future with the Texans contract-wise?
Well, I think they're going to make him play this year and see what he can do. And I think that's the right thing to do. We've seen so many quarterbacks get rushed in terms of their contract. And all you got to do is look at Tua. I mean, the Dolphins, rushed to make him get that deal, and then all of a sudden it backfired on him. And so I think patience has to be at play a little bit if you're the Texans. After what you saw, particularly down the stretch last year, I don't think you can race to go do that. So if you're C.J. Stroud, you know what you do? Go out there, play lights out. If you put up big numbers and you have a good season and you win, you're going to get the contract. If you don't, you're not going to get the contract.
95% of the time that you and I have disagreed on a guy, you're right and I'm wrong, because you know the league way better than I do and you know prospects better than I. But we disagreed a little on Will Anderson when he came out. I loved him at Alabama. Pete, are you surprised that he's become this and that he's one of the best, honest to God, I think 2 or 3 edge rushers in the league?
Yes, and I admit that one. I didn't look, and I wasn't alone. In fact,
I know.
I work with Rand Carthon, and he didn't love him when he came out. There were a couple other guys that didn't love him when he came out. So, look, the tape at Alabama was unbalanced. Let's put it at that. I think there were games where he was dominant and then games where he wasn't. And so I was concerned about that. I also think if you go back and watch his tape, and he's a really good player, but they do a great job of scheming him to get sacks by looping him and stunning him, and he's fantastic at it. He's a good edge rusher, don't get me wrong, but I think the way they use him, I think it helps him get his numbers up. But yeah, he's better than I thought he would be. He's better. When they made the deal, I probably wouldn't have made that deal. So kudos to them for going and getting him. He's a really good football player.
And to the point you were making, though, it also helps that he's opposite Danielle Hunter, right? I mean, every pass rusher would tell you, Greg Lloyd was better because Kevin Green was on the other side. I mean, Carl Banks was on the other side. Pete, that's a big part of this too, right?
No question about it. And Danielle Hunter's one of the best, pass rushers in the league. And, we talk about, it's funny because we could talk about production in college. He had 3 sacks in college, 3 his entire career. And look what he's become now. So, yeah, having that guy on the other side makes it a lot easier for him. And by the way, thank God when you play them that they don't have the great interior pass rusher, because if they did, you'd have real problems.
Great point.
Hey, Pete, one of the best things you do each year is the Better Than list. They came out Wednesday. I want to ask you about 2 tight ends, Nate Berkshire from A&M and Tanner Koziel from Houston. Do you see either of those guys maybe as being a fit for the Jaguars in the 3rd round?
Both. Maybe the kid from A&M can do more things. He's a better blocker. I mean, and if you're looking for another blocker, I think that's what you look for. And he developed into a pretty good receiver last year. He's a transfer, but when you look at him, he actually improved in a lot of ways in catching the football, and he can block. So if you're looking for the more complete tight end, that's him. If you're looking for a detached tight end who can create matchup problems, that's what the kid from Houston is. He's a taller kid. He can really catch the football. He can go a little bit. He's not going to block anybody, but he's one of those guys that you can use in the passing game as a mismatch guy. And I think, there's a market for that guy too now. With so many teams using, 3 tight ends and 2 tight ends all the time, there's a market for a guy who's just a pass catcher too. who you can detach from the line of scrimmage and create some matchup problems for defense.
Pete, explain to people what I agree with Ryan. I love the better than team because I know how much time you put into it. Explain to people what that is and how you came about it.
Well, it started, I think it was I'll tell you when it started because he was on with us the other day. When Levante David came out, it was the first year I ever did it. He was the captain of the Better Than team. And the Better Than team is a team I like more of players I like more than the scouts. And most of the time, it's not going to include first-round picks. It has, and it will, but most of the time it isn't that. It's guys who are down the line a little bit and aren't necessarily star players in this draft. But Levante David was the first one, and he was the captain of that team. And I've kind of had other captains, Jason Pierre-Paul, when most people didn't even know who he was. He was a captain back in the day. Grady Jarrett was a captain back in the day. And then I've had a lot of guys on the team that were later round picks that ended up making it. Travis Kelce was on my team back in the day. Dak Prescott. So that's kind of where I'm at. And so I look at it, I study all these guys, and if I like a guy and I don't see him necessarily highly ranked on a lot of lists, I put him on my team, and I move guys around and move them in. And there's guys. I'll give you an example. The running back from Nebraska, Emmett Johnson, and I know the Jaguars talk to him. I love him.
Yeah.
He makes people miss. If we want to evaluate all the backs in this draft, the guy that has the ability to cut in the line of scrimmage and make people miss is Emmett Johnson. And we rave about Love, and he's a great player. He's fast, he's explosive, but he doesn't make people miss like Emmett Johnson does. The problem with Emmett Johnson, he didn't run a great time at the combine, but he did come back and run 4.49 at his pro day, so he's fast enough. Those are the kind of guys I look for. I don't get so caught up in all the numbers and all that. I watch the tape. And I'll give you another example. There's a little nickel corner at Tennessee. Tennessee has two corners that might go in the first round. And in fact, both of them will probably, McCoy and Hood, at least Hood back end. McCoy will. Jalen McMurray's a nickel corner. He's 5'11", 184 pounds. And I'll tell you what, he tackles, he's tough, he covers, he transferred from Temple, and he's the guy down the line, like in the fifth or sixth round. You draft him, you might find yourself one of those good little nickel corners that's around your football team for a long time.
Let me ask you about two guys. Pons, the cornerback from Indiana, who's on your team. I think he's a really good player. Is it because he's tiny that he's not appreciated? And I want you to tell me about the Rutgers quarterback, and I'll let you pronounce his name.
I'm not pronouncing his name. I just call him. He's the Greek freak, I think they call him, or something like that. D'Angelo Pons is a South Florida kid, and he's a tough kid who plays that way.
He's good,
and I don't care if he's 5'8" and a half, 185 pounds. He is outstanding, and he will fight you. He will tackle. He's tough. I think everybody pigeonholes him as a nickel corner. I think he can play outside. Now you're going to get some situations where they match up with the bigger corner, but he can jump. He'll make plays on the ball. And, look, he had some moments where Jeremiah Smith ran by him last year when they played, but he also had some moments where he matched up well with them. So I think that's a good sign. They're from the same high school, too. And, the talk is that they played well against each other in high school. So I love him. I think he might, there's some buzz now. He might go to back end of the first round. Really good football player. And as far as the quarterback at Rutgers, he's a guy, fifth or sixth round, maybe the seventh. You draft him. You come in, and all of a sudden you look at him and you go, you know what? I'm keeping him. He's going to be a good backup to hang around for a long time. Got a good arm, can really zip it down the field. 38 touchdown passes, 14 picks the last 2 years. Not only that, aside from Mendoza, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he had the most big throws down the field in terms of yards. So that tells you he's going to drive the ball down the field. So I think as a backup quarterback in this league and a guy you could count on maybe, 4 or 5 years down the road to play, if you had him, then I think that's the guy you can look at down the road.
Hey, Pete, 6 nights from round one. Obviously, Jaguars not involved right now, but what will you be watching for, let's say, in the first 15 picks that would surprise you?
If, I'll tell you what, surprises, I think we got those. If Ty Simpson, if somebody made a move to go get Ty Simpson, that would be a surprise.
Yeah,
me too.
I don't look. Is he going to go in the first round? Probably the back end of the first round somewhere. Somebody might trade back in and get him. But I would just wait till next year. That's what I would do. And if I were all these teams, I would wait the next year other than Mendoza. But that would surprise me. I think we're going to see a run on offensive linemen. There might be 8 of them, 9 of them go in the first round, and nobody's talking about that. But if you look at it, count them up. The kid from Miami, Proctor from Alabama. The kid from Freeling, who I think, by the way, is kind of overrated, the left tackle at Georgia. You got some guards that are going to go in the first round. You got the kid from Penn State, the guard he's the cleanest offensive lineman in the draft. You're going to get the 2 Utah tacklers, because the left tackle, by the way, is a really good player. He just so happens to be only 200, about 300 pounds. He needs to gain about 20 pounds. But he was the left tackle. Fanu, who might be the best tackle of all of them, he might go, top 15, top 10. He was the right tackle. The other kid was the left tackle. So there's going to be a run on offensive linemen. I would be astounded if we don't see 8, 9 of them go in the first round.
Pete, final question for you, off the beaten path. This has nothing to do with the draft. Zay Flowers I'm asking this for a reason. Zay Flowers came out today and was quoted as saying John Harbaugh's practices hit too much, too many pads, and it led to injuries. I will tell you that I know people that have played for Jim Harbaugh that is a common opinion. Hit too much, practice too hard, cause injuries. Is that a thing being talked about? When Zay Flowers, when I saw somebody said it, I didn't see it was Zay Flowers, Pete, and I saw Harbaugh, and I said they're certainly talking about Jim, and then I saw it was Zay Flowers talking about John, but I hadn't heard that about him, but I have heard it about Jim Harbaugh. Is that a thing in the NFL?
They don't hit enough, Frank.
Yeah,
that's the way I feel about it. That's the problem with the NFL right now. They've gotten soft. They don't hit enough. You can only hit on so many days. Yeah. By the way, I don't know what Zay Flowers is talking about. You're limited in your padded practices where you can actually hit. So if that's a problem, then they have issues on that team. So no, I don't ever believe that. And again, I go back to 25 years ago when they used to beat the daylights out of each other.
Great.
Nowadays, how many padded practices do you have during the season?
Well, and you're limited over the course of the year.
Was it 8 or 9? And I'm sure Zay Flowers is not doing any wham blocking in those padded Wednesdays.
That's a very good point.
I remember once I was at a practice where the Bengals were practicing back in the Marvin Lewis age, and he did Oklahoma drills with everybody, including the wide receivers. It's incredible to watch, and they don't do that anymore. These guys. And by the way, I hear a lot of things coming out of that Ravens building where they don't necessarily love the practice. Let's put it that way. And I don't think the quarterback is always on board with practicing either. So I think sometimes we've gotten to the point where, maybe you do a little bit too much practice and too much hitting, and all of a sudden it's way overboard. It's not enough. The reason why the offensive line stink in the NFL, they don't hit. The reason why it takes a long time to get things going in the first part of the season is because they don't hit. They got to hit more, in fact. I disagree with that 100%.
Pete Prisco checking in from CBSSports.com, as always, brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. Pete, thanks, buddy. We appreciate it.
All right, guys. Take care.
Thanks, Pete.
Do want to remind you now, Ezra Cleveland, the Jaguars left guard, will be at Showtime signing autographs next Tuesday, the 21st, from 5:30 to 7:30. Advanced autograph tickets are available now. That is at Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles at Phillips and Shad on Phillips at the corner of Shad. You can also find them on those social channels, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I want to go more into this. Ryan, we come back. I got a thought or two about the whole injury thing and the practice thing. That's next. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
Hey, Hickett here. Oh, buddy, it's my turn now. TopDressing.com coming to do my lawn, baby. Look, I met with their staff. Salt of the earth guys, locally operated right here in Jax. Heck, I've been troubled just like you by the St. Augustine grass since I've lived here. I can't wait to have their proprietary process go to work for me. I'm chatting with them now to get on the schedule. It's easy, and you can too. You want to truly transform your lawn, look like a golf course, call today for a free estimate, and top dress your lawn like the pros with TopDressing.com.
Welcome to Key Buick GMC, proudly family-owned and operated since 1943. Come see why they're North Florida's new and pre-owned truck center, conveniently located on Southside and JTB, just minutes from the St. John's Town Center. At Key Buick GMC, every new vehicle comes with our lifetime powertrain warranty. Key Buick GMC, we are professional grade. Online at KeyBuickGMC.com. Lifetime powertrain warranty covers engine, transmission, drivetrain only. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
Fight night is here. Join Dan and I at UNF Arena for Guns N' Hoses, Saturday, April 18th. You want to be a part of the pugilistic festivities? Go to GNHJacks.com and get your tickets now. It's Guns N' Hoses, Saturday, April 18th.
At G&H Tires and Service, the G stands for great pricing. The H, well, that means honest service. For over 20 years, Roger and his team have helped Jacksonville drivers stay safe on the road. Need brakes, oil change, AC not blowing cold? Well, how about a super affordable $36 oil change? Affordable brake jobs, AC checks before summer hits, alignments for all these construction roads, and even free check engine light inspections. Locally owned, community driven. G&H Tires and Service on Beach Boulevard.
Checkmate. I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, the Checkmate Chessman.
At most companies, people start on the ground floor and work their way up to the corner office. At Checkmate, I started on the ground floor, and almost 20 years in, that's still where I am, making ground floors look awesome, one garage at a time.
Well, I started as a pawn and worked my way up to king.
No, you didn't. Some guy drew you as a king. I asked them to give you a roller, so at least you look like one of the guys.
Yes, I rather would have preferred a sword.
At Checkmate, I work personally with our teams to perfect the preparation and application techniques that make Checkmate floors beautiful and durable.
And I keep things classy with my adorable accent.
Beautiful floors?
Check. Guaranteed to last?
Check. The finishing touch your home deserves? Checkmate.
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit checkmatecoatings.com.
Pages in your mailbox right now. Did you know there's local savings sitting in your mailbox right now? Money Pages is packed with real coupons from your favorite local businesses. Save money at restaurants like Al's Pizza, on pet care at Forever Vets, and on entertainment for the whole family at the Alhambra Theater. Plus, make sure to download the Money Pages app for savings on the go.
Money Pages in your mailbox right now.
Feel the power. Hear the legend. One Night of Queen, performed by Gary Mullen and the Works. The look, the sound, the electrifying showmanship of one of rock's greatest bands. One Night of Queen, April 29th at Florida Theater. Get your tickets now at floridatheater.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
It's a Big Chief Tire Friday on The Frangie Show. For all of your tires and automotive service needs, it's Big Chief Tire.
We sure appreciate our friends from Big Chief Tire. I saw my buddy Reed Farman today a little bit earlier on. What a wonderful family. What a wonderful operation. 6 locations here on the First Coast. The north side, 2 on the west side, south side. And then, of course, there's 2 newer ones, Orange Park and Mandarin. Big Chief Tire for all your automotive needs. Oil changes, brakes, alignments, and those fantastic tires. And they'll get you any tire you want. They've done it for over 60 years for a reason. They do it right. It's a wonderful company. Big Chief Tire, Big Chief Tire Friday on the program. I want to lean back into something about the Zay Flowers comments. And I told Hayes this story, and I've said the story in the air before, so I'm not saying it, excuse me, for the first time. But so last year following the Gators, Ryan, dude, everybody was always hurt. Dallas Wilson played 1 or 2 games. Trey Wilson was hurt 3 or 4 times. Banks was always hurt. Lagway was hurt the whole offseason and played and didn't play. I mean, the entire team missed time. I think Baugh may be the only player of significance that didn't. Miles Graham, they're all down for a little bit. So I asked somebody that I think is in the know, that I know is in the know, that was the problem the strength and conditioning program. And if they'd had a better strength and conditioning program or a better nutrition program, they could have affected that some. And what I was told was no. The problem was coaching. Mm-hmm. That they didn't have a good feel for when to pull back, when to put the gas down, when to go hard, when to not, when to hit, when to take a day off. that Billy Napier, and I'm not trying to bury Napier again. We've done that enough. That's not my point. The point is the topic's a real topic, and was told that he didn't have a good feel for when they needed to go, when they needed not to go, and the result was injury. And people in the program knew that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the evidence showed that, whether they're right or not. So that's the first time I've ever been told in all my years of doing this that injuries are about more than chance or strength training and nutrition, which we've always become to believe. Sometimes the coach has a lot to say about that. So I'm not saying John Harbaugh was guilty. I have no idea. I just saw it. But the Zay Flowers comment made me think about it.
Well, I remember back in Jaguars camp in 2017, Doug Marrone's mission was, I'm going to push these guys to the edge of the cliff because I got to toughen them up.
Right.
And then I'm going to pull back. He did it after the third preseason game.
Okay.
And because guys were squawking already, say, hey, we're going to be beat up by the time the season starts. So that's where the feel comes in. Is Doug had been here. He knew, okay, this team needs to callous up a little bit. But the key is no one went to throttle back. And obviously Florida didn't know how to do that. To Pete's point about the rules, collective bargaining agreement, you're allowed 14 padded practices in the regular season, but only 3 in the last 7 weeks. Okay. That said, Liam Cohn, which I thought was brilliant, he went pads on Thursdays early in the season. But then he had a short week after the Kansas City game, no pads that week. That's the feel. And then in training camp, you're allowed 16 total padded practices. But if you get in the weeds, there's some stuff you can only have like 2 or 3 rows. So the system is designed for the players to stay fresh. So Zay Flowers is full of BS.
Yeah. And again, I asked you and Pete about Zay a minute ago. This wasn't about that, but it got me thinking about, because I honestly, I'm a diehard Gator fan, right? I watch every snap of every game. I was astounded at how many guys were always hurt. It blew me away, that so much so that it had to be more than just bad luck. At some point, it has to be more.
And then I think you got late in the Florida season, and guys were making business decisions.
Yeah, well, and by the way, and that does happen now more than ever when everything's about money. I think that probably happened. But anyway, it ran through my mind. And so for it did. Next hour, I want to get back to the NFL a little bit, because I want to ask you about, I want to go around the league, around the division a little bit, what you think teams might do as we get closer and closer to the draft. But let's unpack a thing or two that Pete said. Pete's belief is the same as mine, that the Jags don't have to be desperate at all. I got the impression yesterday you're kind of in between.
I am in between because it's about what kind of defensive tackle do they need? What kind of edge rusher do they like? And let's say they have 3 players left in their bucket, and 2 are gone by pick 48.
Right.
Then I think the urgency would ratchet up a little bit. It depends on, this is not a deep defensive tackle class. So they think there would have to be some urgency there. A lot of edges could be there in the second round. And I think, let's say, maybe you package 2 of those third-round picks to move up a little bit into the 70s and get an edge guy. So, but one thing that Pete was right about is they have to get a pass rusher, and that they got 4 guys under contract right now. If they want to move Walker inside on third down, then you need to count on somebody opposite of Hines Allen. And so I think that is going to be addressed next Friday night, because you cannot, if you want to live by blitzing, you're going to die by blitzing.
So, and if you're joining us late, by the way, earlier in the program, if you've been following the story, you know it by now. Mason Smith, the Jaguar defensive tackle, traded to the Falcons for rookie Orororo, a defensive tackle there. 2 guys that were drafted high and never completely panned out for their team. Orororo is a much better pass rusher. He had 3.5 sacks. He had 30 pressures. Mason Smith didn't touch those numbers, obviously, so we'll see if that works when they come here. We come back, I want to talk about franchise values in all sports. We're going to make a point about that. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Get a Gator baseball chomp on 1010XL.
2 of the nation's top teams continue their big series in the swamp. Gators, Auburn Tigers. Tonight and tomorrow at noon on 1010 a.m.
This is Hayes Carlion for Harold and Harold. I was at lunch with my good friend Holt, and he was telling me that sometimes a lawyer can get more from a case than their own client. I was surprised to hear this, but Holt said that doesn't happen with Harold and Harold. They'll never take a fee that is greater than their own client. When they say they treat their clients as a person and not a file, they mean it. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harold and Harold at 904-251-1111.
That's 904-251-1111.
Get a healthy start in 2026. The Florida Department of Health in Duval County is here to help you get healthy and stay healthy all year long. Our dedicated team is committed to providing high-quality care and trusted public health services for our community. Our mission is simple: to protect, promote, and improve the health of you and your family. Learn more about our programs and services by visiting duval.floridahealth.gov.
Big personalities, bold opinions, lunch just got louder. Josie, Matt, and Leon are XL Prime Time from the big #1 Duval Ford Studios.
Any questions? Yeah, what's lunch?
Noon to 2 on 1010 XL.
Hey guys, Coach Campo here. We just left Tony D's Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295. My wife is still raving about the eggplant parmesan. At Tony D's, it's more than just pizza. I'll see you there.
Pick it here for Oceanside Cleaners, the very best in dry cleaning service. Free pickup and delivery, or use their self-service kiosk in Ponte Vedra and Southside for drop-off and pickup. Dry cleaning, laundry, bedding, and bridal gown preservation. If it's got fabric, they can clean it. Oceanside Cleaners.
Living on Amelia Island? Having fun in Fernandina Beach? No matter what brings you to the fun, cozy town, make sure you check out the tap room at Mocama Beer Company. With a full flight of craft creations, from the Cosmico IPA to the Motor, the perfect Pilsners and lagers, matching memories and some Mocama magic is what it's all about. Mocama Beer Company in Fernandina Beach, near the big water where the sun is born. And look for more Mocama craft at your local Total Wine or ABC Liquors.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-575-7098.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-7098. That's 800-575-7098.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
PGA Tour star Ricky Fowler.
If you want to be the best, you have to practice with the best. That's why I had Southwest Greens install and maintain my putting green, and my synthetic lawn, and my chipping area, and my practice bunker area, and my bocce ball court, and our pole vaulting area.
Southwest Greens is the world's premier manufacturer and installer of putting greens, synthetic grass, chipping areas, practice bunkers, and just about anything else you want to do in your yard.
It's Southwest Greens.
Log on to southwestgreensofjacksonville.com to see what they can do to your backyard.
It's time to take your season to the next level when the Jaguars return to the bank in 2026. Become a season ticket member and unlock exclusive access to ticketed events, members-only experiences, NFL membership club perks, and more. Availability is limited due to in-bowl renovations, so don't wait. Call 904-633-2000 or visit jaguars.com/season tickets to secure your spot at the center of the action. We'll see you at the bank this fall.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
It's a Big Chief Tire Friday on The Frangie Show. For all of your tires and automotive service needs, it's Big Chief Tire.
I sure appreciate my friends from Big Chief Tire. 6 locations on the first coast: Orange Park, Mandarin, the north side, 2 on the west side, and the south side. Head to Big Chief Tire today. Frangie and Ryan O'Halloran with you. JJ La Selva is here as well as we continue along on this Friday installment. The Padres are going to be sold, it looks like, for $3.9 billion. Private equity in play, because of course it is. I got to tell you, the way franchises have gone up, this is the best, in my opinion, it is the best evidence, best leverage all these players' agents could ever have. Players make astronomical dollars now. And ownership is always complaining that it's too much, and the fans are always complaining that it's too much. but it has coincided with these ridiculous values. Here's why teams are valued so high. It's the greatest monopoly in the world, professional sports. There's no monopoly. It's a monopoly. There's no way another baseball team can go compete with the San Diego Padres in San Diego. It's the great monopoly. Banks have no monopoly. Anyone can start a bank. You can if Ryan O'Halloran Savings and Loan opens right over here. Okay,
pretty cool name.
Okay, all right. Then JJ LaSelva Savings and Loan can open across the street. Nobody can stop them.
Kick your butt.
I wouldn't trust my expertise on that either. Yeah, the government's allowed.
Yeah.
Basically NFL, no, you can't compete with them. Same with MLB and NBA.
Yeah.
It's just,
and by the way,
it's been a rule for 100+ years.
Well, and it always has. I mean, it's never changed. Okay, you know what? Just as soon as I promise you, just as soon as Publix opens on one corner, Winn-Dixie's opening across the street. Okay, just as soon as Walgreens opens on a corner, the competition's opening across the street. It's well known, and nobody can stop it.
A month ago, before the season, Forbes valued the Padres at $3.1 billion. This guy's paying 3.9, so he's like, I don't care what the valuation.
Correct.
I want a team.
Yeah,
and so that will jump them ahead of the Mets.
Yeah, which is
sixth.
I mean, that's which is amazing. But regardless of who we're talking about, it's the greatest. It's the greatest. There's a reason Shad Khan, who's one of the smartest people you'll ever know, wanted in. Because of value. I think it's one of the great monopolies in our world is professional sports franchise.
And I'll narrow it down to NFL because that's our local team, is the revenue sharing model they have. This isn't like baseball where it's a small market, big market thing. They are 32 partners, 31 plus the Packers who are publicly owned. And that's why, Seattle's for sale right now, $8 billion. Maybe.
Yeah.
And so it is an exclusive club, and these teams do not become available very often, and that's why you see people willing to pay so much money for them.
If JJ opens an Outback next week, and he might, okay, Ryan,
I do love a bloomin' onion.
You could turn around and open a Longhorn across the street, and nobody can do anything about it. I think in just about every industry, that's the way it is. Now, I'm sure if you
1990, no, I just looked it up. 1922. It was a antitrust exemption is why it happens. And you literally can't start a rival league with the MLB to compete.
Yeah,
so it literally is a monopoly.
So it's the 3.9 blew me away. Now, I didn't realize what you just said, Ryan, that puts them in the top 10% or top 20%. I didn't realize. But it just blows me away. And by the way, that's why my dumbass owner in Pittsburgh, Bob Nutting, is never going to sell, because why would he? He doesn't have to win to make money.
You're not going to get relegated.
You're not getting relegated. You make a bunch of money whether you win or not. You make more money every year because TV contracts go up and pricing goes up. So it's just an amazing. And again, I give Shad credit because Shad wanted in, and Shad, to your point, and Shad spends money. Shad's a spender. Shad's a good owner, but you could be a bad owner in baseball and still. It's just that 3.9 blew me away.
It did for me as well, because it's and it's cash.
Yeah,
there's no loans involved here.
Right.
So that's probably that's an attractive part of it as well. The owners in MLB got to be thrilled today with that number, because that brings their valuations up as well.
Yeah, you're exactly right. All right, we're gonna take a break. When we come back, I want to get back to the NFL, Ryan. I want you to take us around the league. You've covered the league forever. I want to go around the division. I've asked Hayes this question. I'm going to ask you this question. What are your expectations in the draft, but beyond that, in the season for the Texans, the Titans, the Colts, the AFC? Do the Chiefs bounce back? It looks like Patrick Mahomes is going to play. The Bills, you know them better than anybody. The Broncos, you know them really well. They're two of the better teams in the conference. Let's talk about that when we come back to NFL Talk with Ryan O'Halloran. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
When sports news breaks and you need to know, there's just one place you need to go. 1010XL, Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. By now, everyone has heard about saving money on their energy bills. There are all sorts of things you can do to cut energy costs, but most people don't think about their windows.
But Window World knows that the biggest energy loss in almost every home is the windows. There is more energy loss from old builder-grade windows than just about anything else in your home.
You can upgrade your heating and air, your appliances. That's good too. But before you do all that, upgrade your windows to Window World's energy-efficient windows.
Window World's windows are easy to clean, energy efficient, and have the best guarantee in the business.
Window World's slogan is simply the best for less, and we mean it. You get great American-made windows, and you get to keep more of your money when you buy from Window World. Need any more reasons to buy your windows from Window World? Call them today and set up your free in-home estimate, or go online to windowworldneflorida.com.
Window World, simply the best for less.
Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
Hey everybody, Mike Dempsey here for big number one Duval Ford. If you run a fleet in Jacksonville, you know time off the road costs money. That's why Duval Ford's Fleet Mobile service is a game changer. Duval Ford comes to you, job sites, depots, wherever your trucks are. You don't have to lose hours driving to a shop or waiting in line. From basic maintenance to light repairs, Duval Ford technicians keep your fleet moving. It's fast, convenient, and built for commercial uptime. Big number one Duval Ford mobile service. Wherever you need them, they'll come to you.
Get geared up for your golf weekend with Dan, Jeff, and PGA Pros on Brunch with the Tour.
Expect anything different?
Tuesday morning at 8:30. Teed up by North Florida Medical Centers and Clearwater Irrigation on 1010XL.
Some plumbing companies say they're local, right up until you realize their headquarters are in New York City. At Holland Sons Plumbing, we're actually from here. Born, raised, and fixing leaks right here in Jacksonville. Holland Sons Plumbing. Local. Family. Real.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Instant Keys saves the day if you have lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call 722-1111.
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. Honda going off-road. They've got it all. Two-wheel, four-wheel. What's happening, my man?
Man, they've got the Talon. They got the Talon R. They've got the Talon Live Valve. You're looking to do some farm work, they've got the Pioneer 700, Pioneer 1000. Legendary Honda reliability. Super fun. Dirt bikes, of course, always amazing. More podium finishes than any other company. Can't go wrong there.
And families love it when they go off-road with Honda. Check them out. Cycles of Jacksonville on Atlantic near Regency. CyclesofJacksonville.com.
With 50 years of fabrication expertise and towing products, the family at Cannons of Jacksonville can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
Credit card interest rates are now over 29%. Most people are only making the minimum payments, so they're getting nowhere. Hey, Prosser here, but here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit card, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 a month. Here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone. With zero out-of-pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at a near 3-year low. Act now. Go to loanpronto.com. See how much you can get in about 60 seconds. Loan Pronto, 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update brought to you by Chat and Sandy Real Estate. 10-8 Jumbo Shrimp will look for their 5th straight victory tonight, taking on the Charlotte Knights here in Jacksonville once again for a 7:05 first pitch. Legendary Jaguars linebacker Paul Kozlinski will be announcing the team's second-round draft selection week 1 from today, live at the NFL Draft. It's 88 degrees at 5 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
It's a Big Chief Tire Friday on The Frangie Show. For all of your tires and automotive service needs, it's Big Chief Tire.
I sure appreciate my friends from Big Chief sponsor this program for a long, long time. The Parman family is outstanding. 6 great locations, the north side, 2 on the west side, the south side, Orange Park and Mandarin. If you can hear me now, you're close to a Big Chief Tire. Oil changes, brakes, alignments, and, of course, those great tires. You can get them at Big Chief Tire. The news of the day, if you're joining us late, Mason Smith, the second-round draft pick of the Jags a few years back, traded to the Falcons, a defensive lineman for defensive lineman. Rookie O'Rororo will be coming from the Falcons to the Jags. He was a little more active as a pass rusher than Mason. He had 3.5 sacks. He had 30 pressures. Mason obviously didn't touch those numbers. So Mason Smith didn't work out here. Maybe it'll work out for Mason in Atlanta. And maybe O'Rororo will certainly affect the Jags in a positive way. We'll see. That is the news of the day. Frank Frangie with Ryan O'Halloran, and along with J.J. LaSelva. Hayes Carline is on vacation. He'll be back in the fold on Monday. Let's go around the league a little bit. I'm going to start in the division. Let's start with the Texans. Incredible defense. I mean, the defense, that was 85 Bears, 70 Steelers like. I'm not saying it's good, but they were as nasty and physical a defense, in my opinion, as we've seen in this league in a long time. I believe that. They weren't great offensively. They don't have a lot of weapons offensively. What are your expectations in the draft? And then for the season, let's start with the Texans.
You're right about the Texans defense. If they, Nico Collins is an elite receiver. If they can get Tank Dell back, that's another weapon.
He's really fast.
Yeah, and he missed all last year with that knee injury, Christmas Day 2024. They just seem to be guessing with their offensive line. They traded some depth guys. They will probably have to take one early. And also, C.J. Stroud bouncing back from that playoff game. What is his mindset right now? Jake Delhomme was an older player when he had his playoff disaster. Was never the same. I think C.J. Stroud will bounce back better than that. But I have questions about the Texans, whether they can protect the passer and whether they can score enough to complement that defense.
I'll tell you something, Ryan, and I told this story on the air many times. So C.J. Stroud's last year at Ohio State, I don't do this as much anymore now because weekends off are kind of weekends off. But for a while there, when the Jags had an off weekend, I'd go work a college game. So the Jags were off that year. Ohio State played at Maryland in College Park. And C.J. Stroud was his last year as the quarterback there, and Talia Tagovailoa was the quarterback to his younger brother for Maryland. It was a heck of a game. It was like 42-35, something like that. And Tagovailoa, by the way, was very good. He's playing in the spring league, whatever it's called now. So, but I watched C.J. Stroud, and I was overwhelmingly impressed. I came back here and told Hayes on the air, I said, he's Joe Burrow. This guy's Joe Burrow all over again. I really believe that. And he came into the league and looked like Joe Burrow. Ever since then, he hasn't. The league. What's your view? Did the league catch up? It wasn't a fluke. I mean, we watched it. Why has he not been as good as he was that first year? In your opinion?
Yeah, it's weird with Stroud in Houston. Is he had that great first year with Bobby Slowick. Then they ran it back, and then they fired Slowick.
Fired him right after the second year.
Yeah, right after the second year, when they won the division.
Yeah.
So there's obviously a disconnect there, and they just didn't seem all that great with Nick Caley, who's a Rams offensive guy. They just didn't really seem in sync. I mean, they got, and really, quite frankly, they played their best football offensively when Davis Mills was the quarterback.
We saw that first. We saw that up close in person.
Fourth quarter for the ages in Houston. So, if you had to roll the ball out now, I would pick the Jaguars to win the division.
What are the Texans? Are they a 9-win team?
Yeah, I'd say maybe a 10-7 team.
Okay. And in the draft, what offensive line, is that what jumps off the page for you?
It does, and they have
another weapon maybe.
Yeah,
gotta find a weapon.
I think as much as they have Hunter and Anderson, maybe another pass rusher in the second or third round. That seems to be a little bit, and also a running back.
Yeah, weapon. I mean, I agree with you. Nico Collins is really good. He's big. He's fast. Tank Dell's fast. So he's a good complement. Not a great player. They need weapons, I would think.
And I think in the first round, they picked 28th overall. Pete mentioned how many O-linemen can go on night one. I think the Texans are one of those teams that are going to take one.
Let's go to the Colts. The Colts, Daniel Jones looked like he had found something. He doesn't get hurt. I thought he was having a pretty good year. Now, he was cooling off a little bit. They signed Alec Pierce, which is important because he's a Jet. What do you think of the Colts?
I don't think much of them at all. They made the trade for Sauce Gardner, so they don't have a first-round pick.
Correct.
And they only have 2 picks in the first 112. That's why they signed Alec Pierce.
Yeah.
Part of the reason is they knew they wouldn't be in position to even come close to replacing him. Even if and then you got Daniel Jones, he's younger than Cousins and younger than Rodgers when they tore their Achilles. It took them a year to get back. Maybe Cousins is not even back yet.
Yeah.
So I think there's some questions in Indianapolis. And it's like, okay, you cannot give Jonathan Taylor the ball 450 times. You can give it to him 300 times, but that team was running out of gas when Jones got hurt last year.
I agree with that. It's amazing, and I get it. I get it. You don't expect Andrew Luck to just pull up and quit. I get it, but it's astounding what's happened with that franchise at quarterback since Andrew Luck pulled up and quit. It's astounding the changes and how hard they've tried to find someone, and they've tried to draft a guy, and they bring in all the old guys, and then
Phillip Rivers.
I mean, then bring up an old guy again. I mean, it's if you look at the last 12 years of quarterbacking in Indianapolis or whatever the number is, it's crazy.
When you swing and miss so badly at a quarterback like they did with Richardson, you're just throwing darts at the board. And Daniel Jones injured, not his fault. They sort of had to re-up with him because they didn't have any other options. But I don't really think a lot of them.
Yeah, Phillip Rivers, Flacco, Matt Ryan. Who am I missing? Obviously Anthony Richardson, Daniel Jones.
Let's go Rivers the first time around.
And Rivers,
2020
Rivers and Rivers. Yeah. I mean, it's just amazing. So you don't think they're very good at all? Interesting. The Titans.
I don't think they're very good at all, but at least they know they're not.
Yeah.
And they added in free agency. They're in the first couple rounds of this draft. Tennessee could take any position on the board except for quarterback. You could say, that makes sense. And I think Robert Saleh will be better the second time around as a head coach.
Yeah.
I like the fact that he hired Gus as a non-play calling coordinator. But Cam Ward, I think he's got something.
Yeah.
And I will say this about the Titans: the best coordinator hire they made in the NFL was Brian Daboll because he developed Josh Allen. That's good enough for me.
See, I don't think they have a very good roster. To your point, I think Saleh's going to be pretty good. I think Daboll's very good. I think Mike Barganzi's good. I think he understands the league's changed a lot, Ryan, and I think Barganzi's a sharp guy. I do. I don't. John Robinson. It's interesting. John Robinson, at times was pretty dang shrewd. He was respected up there. Then it blew up, and Rand Carthon, that never worked, and so they've been in. I think Barganzi's good.
Yeah, ultimately the Titans are still trying to rebound from firing Vrabel.
Yeah, well, that's right. No question.
And then Brian Callahan was a terrible hire.
Terrible hire.
So
did Rand Carthon make that hire? I mean, maybe she made the hire, but I mean, he was there.
Yeah, then they juggled. Like who reports to who.
Yeah,
I mean, it really has been a dysfunctional thing. But the smart decision is, okay, who's winning all the Super Bowls? Chiefs. Let's go hire one of their guys.
Yeah,
which is what they did. Yeah. He made the right decision on Callahan, and now we'll see how this staff works out.
Good segue to the rest of the conference. Start with the Chiefs. Hayes thinks they're dead. Do you think they're dead?
I think they're on. I think they're coming back because they got they got 3 picks in the top 40, and they've done a lot of things right. But Brent Veach knows how to draft first, second, third rounders.
100%.
And I don't. Whatever you get from Kelsey at this stage is a bonus.
Yeah.
But I think they'll draft a receiver at 9 or late in the first round, and I think they'll draft a pass rusher. And then I got to draft a corner. I think they fleeced the Rams in the McDuffie deal to get a first rounder for him, because he had no interceptions last year. So,
let me stop you. Okay, because I don't know if I agree with that. I think when they were really good, it was Mahomes and Kelsey, blah blah blah, but they were good on defense. I mean, when they had Willie Gay and Nick Bolton together, those are 2 downhill linebackers. Chris Jones was playing the best football of his career. Do they have enough good defensive players?
They're gonna. They had that great transition a couple years ago where they just drafted 4 or 5 guys right away. Yeah. As I pull up the depth chart, I mean, Karloff is still a good player. Chris Jones, when he wants to, he'll make an impact.
That's exactly right.
6-7 times.
100%.
I like their linebackers, Tranquil, Bolton, where they got some, they signed Gilman, the free safety from Baltimore. That was a good signing. And they signed a nickel from Miami. So they filled their margins a little bit. But a sign that a team needs help at corner is when they sign Kyer Elam.
Yeah.
That means that they're not done yet.
He's a terrible player.
He's not done yet.
Yeah.
I love the guy in Buffalo, but he just is not a good player.
He was overrated at Florida. He was overrated at Buffalo. He's not a very good player. Okay, I'm going to get to the two. The Broncos and the Patriots are the same. I mean, they got a heritage coach, young quarterback. I'll get to them in a minute. You covered Buffalo for all those years. What is the psychology? Because I feel like they should have 3 rings, and they got 0. And I didn't like that they fired the coach. I thought he was good. Josh Allen might be the best player in the league, but he's ringless. What's the problem? What's the culture? What's the read on them?
Well, let's start with what's wrong. Is in playoffs they haven't been able to make a stop.
Yeah.
And
Sean McDermott's a defensive guy.
And ultimately that fell on McDermott. And Terry Pegula, the owner, said, "Hey, he was, they knocked on the door. He felt that change was needed. I thought that search was totally telegraphed. I mean, they interviewed a lot of guys. I think they just want to interview guys to say, what's wrong with our defense? That's why, then they got, I think Grant Udinski probably gave him an honest evaluation of that. Who, by the way, I heard he had a lights out interview.
I've heard everywhere he went.
Yeah.
And not just there.
Yeah. And so with the Bills, promoting Joe Brady from OC, they are switching from a 4-3 to a 3-4 on defense. They do not have that kind of personnel yet. So that is an issue. I think they're going to be able to stretch the field more with Allen, who's not been great at that, because Sean McDermott was a defensive coach. Joe Brady called that kind of game on offense. I think they'll have no problem scoring points. I like the DJ Moore acquisition for a 2nd-round pick. They have the rushing champion in James Cook, and I do think Josh Allen's the best player. That said, can they make enough stops? And the key for the Patriots and the Bills in winning the AFC East is you got to sweep the Dolphins. You got to sweep the Jets. If you trip up there, that's going to cost you the division.
All right, you segue to the Patriots. The 2 teams that old are now new again, old veteran coaches in Sean Payton and Mike Vrabel, young upstart quarterbacks in Bo Nix and Drake May, great heritage, great tradition, great fan bases. How good will they be?
I think Denver will be good. They traded their 1st-round pick for Jalen Waddle. They needed a playmaker at receiver because Cortland Sutton is a worker bee at this point of his career. Marvin Mims is a speed guy. Pat Bryant, the local kid, I think is a nice piece.
Good player.
J.K. Dobbins at running back. The thing they got to solve, and we saw this firsthand when the Jaguars played there. When the Jags got up 14, the Broncos are not a quick strike team.
Correct.
Everything was tough for them. And you saw that in the AFC title game when Nix was hurt. There just was no explosion there. You sort of compare it, Denver's defense is just as good as Houston's in terms of pass rush. But I would pick Denver as the favorite in the AFC West. Now, let's go to the Patriots. Love Drake May. But was he banged up in the playoffs? What was going on there? They moved on from Diggs, who had 80-something catches. So I think the Patriots are one of those teams that maybe take a step back, and I think Buffalo wins that division.
Give me the Ryan O'Halloran AFC Power Poll. Give me the top 6 or 7.
Okay. Before I do that, I want to mention the Chargers because I think they are going to take a big step forward offensively with Mike McDaniel because offense wasn't a problem in Miami.
Yeah. Hayes says the same thing, exact same thing you say. Mike McDaniel will make a difference there. I say we'll see.
Yeah.
I see. Will Jim Harbaugh get out of the way and let Mike McDaniel? We'll see. I'm not as convinced as both you and Hayes are.
Yeah, and so if I had to rank the top 6, I did this a couple weeks ago, but I can't remember what I did. I had Denver 1. I probably have Buffalo 2. I had Jaguars 3 because I think the Jaguars are
Denver
better
1, Buffalo 2, Jags 3.
Yeah, and whoever wins the AFC North.
Okay.
I don't know who.
That'll be the Ravens. The Steelers until somebody comes to play quarterback. Other than 94-year-old Aaron Rodgers, I would think that's the Ravens.
And then my wild card teams would be, the Chargers, the Chiefs, and the Texans.
Okay, quick overview. Give me the same thing. I'm not going to go team by team because they're not in our conference. But give me your quick from 10,000 feet of the NFC. as we head into the draft
I
here.
mean, I think the Rams go in as the best team. If they would have had that game in their building against Seattle, they would have won. Seattle is going doubling down with Sam Darnold. But they're a great defense.
And how could they not?
Yeah, and what can he put together? A third quality season in a row. I think the team that's going to be fascinating from a soap opera standpoint is Philadelphia, because the vultures are circling.
Yeah,
the people are your anonymous source stories are already starting about Jalen Hurts, and they haven't even started the offseason program. San Francisco's problem is they can never stay healthy.
Right,
and they also have a game in Australia and a game in Mexico. That's going to play a toll.
The Bears.
Awesome play calling head coach Ben Johnson. Caleb Williams, most improved player in the league last year. I think Detroit bounces back and wins that division.
Best division of football. Probably.
Yeah. And I think 3 teams make the playoffs. I am not a Matt LaFleur guy in Green Bay.
Okay.
It just seems like, with that roster that Brian Gutekunst has built, they should not have been the 7 seed 3 straight years. And so then, the AFC South, I think, is
four mediocre teams.
Yeah.
Four mediocre teams.
Yeah, and Baker Mayfield. Okay, I think Tampa maybe rebounds a little bit, but I mean, it feels like the AFC is deeper and the NFC is top heavy.
So 5-year power poll based on what you just told me: Rams, Seahawks,
Bears, Lions, Bears.
Okay,
so,
49ers.
Yeah, and so the 49ers have to go on the road again.
Yeah.
And the NFC West is loaded. The AFC West is loaded.
We'll take a break. I'm going to get into college basketball. Got a thought about that after this. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
He'll tell you about tonight's games and hot topics.
It's him.
Hacker After Dark.
I'm always punctual.
Live and local, even late night.
You're exactly the kind of hero the world needs.
Right after Rick Ballou. Evenings on 1010XL.
If your ride is making strange noises, don't wait and make it work. Come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road. My expert technicians can diagnose the problem and likely fix it fast. Experience the difference at Action Transmission on Merrill Road.
Getting married? Celebrating an anniversary? Celebrate your love with new wedding bands and save up to $10,000 right now at Beard's Diamonds. Now through April 19th, buy one wedding band, get a second one free. It's Beard's most popular offer ever. You both get new wedding bands, but you only pay for one. Gold, platinum, titanium, all wedding bands included in this springtime event. Now through April 19th. Buy one, get one free. Only at Beard's at the St. John's Town Center.
Take a walk on the wild side and step into the great outdoors.
Look at this beast.
Captain Kevin and Captain Kirk join Jeff Lageman every Saturday morning from 7 to 10 on the Nimnit Outdoors Show.
You got it.
On 1010XL.
An accident with a big truck can change everything in a matter of seconds. Medical bills start piling up, you're missing work, and the trucking company's lawyers, they get to work immediately. That's why you need a law firm that moves just as fast. I'm Chris Campione, and at Campione Law, we fight for truck accident victims, digging into the details and holding negligent drivers and their trucking companies accountable. We don't get paid unless you do. Big trucks have big lawyers. You need a stronger fighter. Campione Law. Visit CampioneLaw.com. Offices, Jacksonville and St. Augustine.
Not everyone is built for a cubicle. At Local 234, apprentices get paid to learn hands-on skills like plumbing, pipe fitting, HVAC, the stuff Jacksonville runs on. No endless lectures, no massive student debt, just hands-on training, real jobs, and real pay. This is how you level up, by doing work that actually matters. Check them out at UA234.com. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Local 234. Make the right connection.
A no-risk, all-rewards path to real weight loss? Awaken 180 is so confident in your success, if you're not happy with your results in the first week, get 100% of your money back. No risk, every reward. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey ham, melted cheddar and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
There's no doubt that we were in good hands when our son's shoulder and hip issues were diagnosed quickly by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. No matter what your orthopedic issue is, let Southeast Orthopedic Specialists take a look. You'll be glad you did.
David Garrard here. I've had the PRP treatment from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and my knees are really doing well. Platelet-rich plasma treatment may be the answer for whatever is hurting you.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Looking for an exciting, fun-filled evening the whole group can enjoy? Welcome to indoor football. Welcome to the Jacksonville Sharks. Discover the thrill of the indoor league. Fast-paced, action-packed, and it's family fun. Be there when your Sharks take on the Orlando Pirates Friday, April 17th at the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Kickoff, 7 o'clock. Halftime performance by the world-famous Disconnected Canines. Ask about our family four-packs. 4 tickets and $50 in food vouchers, all for only $100. There's no better value. Get your tickets now at jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. It's Country Night presented by Roland Reese Plumbing. Dust off your boots, throw on your camo, get ready for a night full of football fun and great music. Join us on the field after the game for our free autograph session, sponsored by Flight Adventure Park. Tickets start at $15. Call 904-621-0700. That's 621-0700. Sharks football, where memories are made.
Go Sharks!
Fins up.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. 1010
Take.
The 1010 Take is brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter, plumbing, septic, and air conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck, duckduckrooter.com. I think college basketball is about to change as exponentially as we have ever seen. We had heard the Gators were around 9 or 10 million on payroll last year. Everybody believed that Kentucky was in that 20 range. Well, the more digging I've done, some of the Big East, the smaller Big East teams that don't have football are up to 14 or 15. So I asked that question to people that are in the know. I believe this year, and I won't say just Florida, Kentucky, or whoever. I believe this year, the schools of prominence, and I will include Florida in there, will be north of $20 million in basketball revenue. That's supposed to be the revenue for every sport. So what we were told was it was going to be about $20 million. Now, rev share is $20 million, but you can add to it by NAL, with NAL. We were told that it was going to be $20 million. And the prominent schools were all the prominent Power Fours. We're going to spend 12 or 13 in football, 5 or 6 in men's basketball, and then everybody else gets 2 or 3, and then they supplement it with NIL. I'm telling you right now, I think the prominent basketball schools, Florida, Arizona, Kansas, North Carolina, Duke, Louisville, UConn, are all going north of 20 million. And I think the change you'll see is fewer and fewer and fewer and fewer players are coming out. And the NBA draft will almost get to a point, stay with me on this, other than the megastars, the one-and-done megastars, virtually no college players will be in the NBA draft as we move forward, and that's the 10-10 take.
Let's say UF was at like 12 last year.
I think the talk was around 10. Okay, but nobody knows.
Let's say 10. Let's say they double that this year.
Which I think is a very and I'm shocked that I was told that, but and it might not be that high, but I think it's a possibility.
Is that a couple donors upping the ante, or is that more donors willing to donate?
I think it's all of the above. I think it's NIL. The Florida Victorious has really grown. Mm-hmm. I think they're fully taking advantage of the 20.5 that you can get from rev share that you can pay without having the NIL. I think it's a handful of donors do more with Florida Victorious. And see, donors in college athletics are asked to break their money up different ways. Gary Condren's name is on the baseball stadium in Gainesville. He's also on the football training facility, okay? Well, I'm not sure that and I don't know this specifically. I'm using Gary as an example. I think maybe the Gary Condrens of the world aren't going to be asked to put together a football facility anymore or to pay for blocking sleds. Yeah. I think they're going to be asked to put money into a pool that's going to go to players. I think you're going to see less and less emphasis on facilities Because before, that's how you got players. You had the better facility. The high school guy wants to come to your school. Well, now everyone's got the facilities. Now it comes down to, do you have more? Used to be
FSU really timed it terribly.
Terribly.
It's not only with the NIL players, but now you have to pay for a coach to get fired.
Correct.
Meanwhile, all the boosters spend all their money on these new facilities.
100%. So now, rather than, hey, rich guy, give me $5 million so I can rebuild my football facility and my standalone football building and renovate my basketball arena. Now it's, hey, rich guy, give me $5 million so I can put it into the pot so I can up my payroll to football and men's basketball.
And if you up that ante, you get to sit next to John Summerall at home basketball games.
And that too. Yeah. So, but I'm telling you, I was convinced Thomas Houck wasn't coming back. I was convinced. I thought Chinyelu would come back. He's got.
I'm surprised that hasn't happened yet.
I am. Surprised. Yeah, and I'm told that there's, they're negotiating dollars. That there's, here's the way I'll explain it to you. With any college player, with some college players, there's an agent, there's a parent, there's an uncle, there's a high school coach, there's an AAU coach.
There's a camp.
There's a camp. And if some of the people in the camp get loud, I think that could slow the process. So
probably smart from a guy like that who has basically no NBA future.
That's right.
To make as much possible right now.
100%. So, but I was convinced Chinyelu would come. What I said was, Chinyelu's coming back. I'm 50-50 on Condon, and I think Houck's out. That's what I said at the beginning. I don't want to go back on what I said. Then all of a sudden, all the word was, oh, Condon's coming back. And I thought he might, but I didn't think he'd be so automatic that he did it a week ago or this week or whatever the hell it was. And now you do, and now you do hear there's a decent chance Houck comes back, which tells me, instead of the 1.5 into, here's how I had it broken down. There's $10 million, okay? 2 to Fland, 2 to Condon, 2 to Chinyelu. That's 6. 4, use the 4 to pay to everybody else, and Houck doesn't come back. That's what I thought. Well, now I think it's 3 to Chinyelu, 3 to Condon, 3.5 to Houck, 2 to Aberdeen, 2 to Fland. Now you're at 12 or 13 million, and you still got to play the Browns and the new guy. You got to bring in a new guy, and so. I think more. I think you're going to see fewer, and I think you're going to get to a day, Ryan, when the NBA draft is virtually the NBA draft is going to be European players and one and dones, and almost nothing else.
Yeah, and I thought if they get this Aberdeen thing straightened out,
he played 41 minutes. Yes. Everybody's winning those these days.
So let's say he rejoins the team. That's key because it allows you to keep Klavsar as your sixth man and sort of anchor that second unit, which needs to be better.
Right,
needs to be deeper. And then I thought Brown finished the season strong.
I did too.
So I think if you could add, I mean, if they, is there a big guy that can be like their eighth guy? But if you can get Houck and Chinyelu back, then I mean they're loaded.
But they still have to find, and maybe Aberdeen will help. And this guy we talked about, Milan Momcilovic or whatever he said, I haven't gotten his name right yet, but. Because he's a dead-eye shooter. Yeah. If they want to be really good, Fland, Aberdeen, Houck, Condon, and Chinyelu are really good. And then you got Brown and Klavsar off the bench. That's really good. Get one pickup. But if you don't want to be really good, if you want to win the damn thing, you better have someone who can stroke it.
Yeah, because you mentioned it yesterday, is you are not going to lead in every game. You're going to need to come back. 2 years ago, Walter Clayton was that guy to bring them back. They had no answers this year.
Right. In baseball, I think I told you this yesterday. In baseball, JJ, there's guys that can hit, and then there's guys that get the big hit, okay? That's a different guy, okay? The guy that gets the big hit gets rings in October, okay? You have the guy with the Florida, with Walter Clayton, he made the big shot over and over and over and over and over, and he made it so often that if there was one game like Texas Tech where Houck played well, or there's a game in Houston where Will Richardson's well, it's okay because at some point, no matter how many of these other guys were doing this, Walter Clayton was going to make the big shot.
So now the big question, JJ, for Frank, do you make identical donations to UFNG on you, JJ?
Yeah. No, I give millions to both. So I give millions to both. So I guess that would be identical.
So that's why you're paying attention to Houck. Get him in the A-Sun, baby.
Can you imagine? You imagine one of those guys show up at the A-Sun? So
you guys will be doing remotes for every home game.
We're live from JU Bethune. Here we are. Okay, starting in a minute. But I do. I think I'm telling you, we're going to get to a world.
Well, that's what it like. If you look at the mock draft of this upcoming draft in the NBA, all the first picks are freshmen.
Yeah,
you know,
freshmen or
like
European.
Every single one of them.
Yeah, and
a lot of European guys now are going actually to college.
Well, that's
first
right.
Before
that's correct.
It used to just be they drafted
Very
them
good
straight
point.
away.
But because in the past, okay, Thomas Houck in the past would never consider coming back.
No.
If he's a lottery pick, fine. If he drops to 23, 24, it's still first round money, which is guaranteed money. All right. So you'd never consider. Now in this day and age, okay, if we did this before, your pick 20th, what's the guaranteed money? 3 or 4, give or take?
A year.
Yeah, 3 or 4 a year, and you
for
get
5 years, basically.
Yeah. So you're going to get 15.
I think 17 or 18 is what Hack said yesterday.
Yeah, something like that. Okay, so that's about right. Well, if you're 20th or 20, if you're 23rd or 24th, you don't. But you're guaranteed the 3 or 4 if you go back to college. That number is growing exponentially, and which is going to change, I think, the paradigm. I do.
Yeah. One last UF thing for you. If they get everybody back, if you're Todd Golden, do you put together the same kind of non-league schedule you did last year, or even tougher?
That's a great question. We can't be much tougher.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's impossible.
Yeah, I mean, you played Duke, Arizona, and UConn, so you're just not going to get tougher. But it's a great question. Do you? If it was me, I'd soften it up a little bit because I think
maybe one or
because I think there's 2 schools of thought. That's a great question, Ryan. There's 2 schools of thought. You played a brutally hard schedule, which by the time you get through it, you roll through the SEC, which they did, but you never gain any real momentum in the polls until very late in the year. And I don't know how much that matters. The other side is you get
they really weren't a number 1 seed.
Yeah,
like until the very end of the season. So they really started destroying everyone, which was surprising to me. But I guess it was because of all those early losses.
I can tell you a story. So in 2007, or 2006, all right, Florida they went to the final game in 2000 with Mike Miller and that gang. Then they'd been kind of mediocre. They'd been okay. They had a good team in 05. David Lee, who played in the NBA a lot of years, a couple of those guys were there, and they had some young players. And I don't remember who else was on that 05 team. David Lee was one, but anyway, he leaves. Okay, so now they've got all these young players. So it turned out to be Noah and Horford and Brewer and those guys, but they had all these young guys in 06. So Billy put together this soft schedule, played nobody hard before the season, okay, because he had all these young guys. I'm doing radio with Baselli. Tony and I were doing mornings on 1460, and we're in. At one point, Florida starts the season in 06, 14-0, 15-0, because they had all these young guys. The 05. Did you pull up the 05 team?
Yeah, Matt Walsh. Remember him?
Matt
I loved
Walsh,
him.
David Lee.
Yeah.
Okay, was Roberson on that team?
He was.
Okay, so Roberson, Lee, and Walsh are all gone.
Corey Brewer.
Right. So, well, no, Brewer was back,
stayed,
but
okay.
so all those guys are gone. So they got Brewer and all these young guys, right? So he plays this easy schedule. So they start out 14 or 15-0, and they go from unranked to start the season to like 12th. And Baselli asked me, Tony goes, look, I know you're a Gator, but you don't really think they're the 12th best team in the country. They just played that soft schedule. And I said, I don't know. Well, they won the national title. Yeah. And now part of it, they had a really good team, but they gained confidence and momentum. They kept winning and winning and winning by 20 and winning by 30. So there is some value to having a easy schedule if you don't know what you've got. So I think to your question, you can't play as tough a schedule this year, but it won't be super easy either.
I just hope they play another game here.
I think they will.
Yeah, and because that was a dang good crowd for an 8:30 game on a Sunday night.
Yeah, I think I didn't. I would try, and I know TV controls
it was
all
terrible
that.
time.
Yeah, and they have a Jaguar game, but play the thing on a Friday night. Play it on Friday night. Basketball in football season, Friday night's gold. Okay, high school football's over. All right, you don't want to play Saturday night when the college guys are playing. You want to play Friday night. High school season's over. I can tell you, I went to a lot of Florida State when they played basketball the night before and football the next day. Incredible
I
crowd.
loved when they used to do
It was
that.
incredible crowds, and I think they should do something like that. So we'll take a break. More in a moment. This is 1010XL 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
It's the ultimate ride. He's gonna do it! Sunday at Kansas. Bubba Wallace wins at Kansas! NASCAR is revved up by the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234 on Jacksonville's high-performance NASCAR station 1010XL.
Hi, folks. Frank Frangie with big news. Nimnick Chevrolet's done it again. They're named the Chevrolet Dealer of the Year for 2025. You ready for this? That's 9 times, and still the only dealership in Northeast Florida to ever win the award. Why? Well, because at Nimnick, it's all about treating you right every time. Experience the difference at NimnickChevy.com. I can tell you this. I've been buying cars from Nimnick since 1982. Started at that Chevrolet store, and I learned how to buy cars, and I've been doing it ever since. So if you want a terrific place to buy cars or trucks, at the Nimnick. In fact, it's Truck Month at Nimnick, and it's bigger and better than ever. Nimnick Chevrolet is offering supplier pricing for everyone on new Chevy Silverados. So it doesn't matter the product. It can be a car, it can be a truck, an SUV, it can be new or used. Nobody does a better job than Nimnick for 3 generations. Nimnick has been the place customers keep coming back to. They keep treating you right. They give back to the community. I'm telling you, if you need a car, truck, SUV, new or used, you want to hit the Nimnick. Who does a better job? Nobody but Nimnick. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
New course alert. The Golf Club at Southampton will host this year's Coastal Equipment Guggen Open, Monday, April 27th. For a chance for you and a partner to play, text Guggen to the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures at 641-1010. Score a hole-in-one and win an Atlantic Infinity QX80. Enjoy a Chick-fil-A breakfast and a Dandy Foods lunch. PRI Productions is making the Guggen look great, thanks to Ackerman Urology for its support, along with Taco Lou, Instant Keys, and Southern Oak Insurance.
Frank Frangie here from my friend and insurance agent Craig Dewhurst. Craig has been helping families on the First Coast with their insurance needs for 25 years as your good neighbor and local State Farm agent. Now's a great time to review your insurance policies, whether you need auto, homeowners, or renters insurance, or insurance for your golf cart, boat, or jet skis. Craig handles all of my family's insurance needs, and even better, he gives back to the community. Call Craig today at 904-940-9740. That's 904-940-9740.
Baloo here for Smunez Vision. Why Smunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smunez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmunezVision.com today. Here you can see.
I used to dread going to the dentist. Every visit felt like a sales pitch with constant upselling, surprise fees on my bill, and I could never get in when I needed to. But Harbor Dental Care? Totally different. They saw me the next day, gave me honest pricing up front, and even set me up with a payment plan I could actually afford. No pressure, no surprise charges, just kind people who get it. If you want to experience dentistry the way it should be, book your appointment today at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
Credit card interest rates are now over 29%. Most people are only making the minimum payments, so they're getting nowhere. Hey, Prosser here, but here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit card, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 a month. Here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone. With zero out-of-pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at a near 3-year low. Act now. Go to loanpronto.com. See how much you can get in about 60 seconds. Loan Pronto, 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
Now, the golden moment today was when Pete Prisco stopped by and talked all about the draft, about the trade. I'll tell you more about the trade in a minute. You know by now, the Jaguar trade. We certainly talked about that. about his a better than team and a whole lot more. Anytime Pete jumps in and talks NFL, it's pretty good stuff. That was the golden moment for today's program. If you have not heard the trade, the Jaguars have traded former second-round pick Mason Smith to Falcons. Rookie Orororo, who was a defensive tackle, plays the same position as Mason Smith, drafted in the same draft right around the same time, had better pass rush numbers than Mason ever did, but the Falcons felt like he wasn't the right guy either, so both teams are trading a defensive tackle who has not done much despite being drafted high, and bringing in a defensive tackle who has not done much despite being drafted high, and that's kind of the news of the day. Interesting stuff.
Yeah, old RO, he played 600 snaps on defense last year, so the Jaguars had a little bit of a foundation to evaluate him, and it's a no harm, no foul trade.
Yeah, Pete said something earlier that rookie Orororo probably wasn't great against the run, but he moved the pocket a little bit as he moved the line a little bit and got into the pocket a little bit as a pass rusher. Well, look, the one thing we've been saying is the Jaguars have to get everybody said it, Ryan, have to get some sort of an interior pass rush, which they haven't had. And so maybe he helps the cause there. Look, we all know that the 3 technique is an issue. And now I'll say it again, Matt Dickerson's a pretty good 3 technique against the run. He's not ever going to be a pass rusher. So this is one more pass rusher. So we'll see. My guess is he's going to be on the team.
Mm-hmm.
My guess is you wouldn't have done this deal. And I'll say it again, I'm not completely convinced there won't be another trade before the draft. I don't know who it would be, but I'm not completely convinced it wouldn't happen.
Yeah, I'm with you. And like we talked with Pete about, I'm not convinced at all that they're done adding defensive tackles.
Yeah. Agreed.
So, and so that's something to watch next week.
Okay. Let's forget all this freaking Jaguar unimportant stuff in college basketball. When does WrestleMania start?
It starts
Sunday?
In its infinite wisdom, it's now a 2-night event.
It's
which
2 nights.
I don't like.
Have you been to a WrestleMania?
I have not. I was telling our guy Trent off air that the biggest premium live event I've been to is a SummerSlam.
Okay.
Where the main event was Shawn Michaels versus the Hulkster.
Nice.
As Washington, D.C. And I bought a John Cena chain with the spinning.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So it's 2 nights now.
2 nights.
Doesn't Hacker go to it? Didn't he used to go
every year with his boys.
He and the fellas would go to it, right?
That's been like 10 years, though.
Okay.
Sometimes when you got a kid.
He's married. He's got the kid.
Life
changes.
Trust
me.
He'll be at Epcot this weekend. Yeah. So it'd be like, I guess it starts at like 6 Eastern. The first hour each night is on regular ESPN. Which has never happened before.
Is.
Yeah.
So it's not on just pay-per-view.
For the first hour, and then it'll switch over to the ESPN Unlimited thing for probably 3.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it'll be a 3.5 hour show each night.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see the crowd because the rumor is they had major ticket sale problems because it was in Las Vegas last year.
Where is it this year?
Back in Las Vegas at Allegiant. To me, there are so many good things to do in Las Vegas. I don't think sitting in a stadium watching WrestleMania is one of them, but maybe you can do a couple other things.
That's an interesting thought. So you bring it back there because people are going to want to go. The theory is people are going to want to go there. Your theory is people that are there don't need to go to WrestleMania because there's so much else to do.
They've already been to it. So I would have moved it back to the East Coast again this year at a stadium to be stadium to be whatever. So I mean I'll have it on, but let's say if it was a Stanley Cup final weekend, I probably wouldn't watch it live.
Yeah,
it was a Final Four weekend, same thing, but I will enjoy it. But I don't have great expectations for it.
Guns and Hoses tomorrow night, by the way, here in town.
UNF this year,
at UNF. Been there for a few years now. So Guns and Hoses tomorrow night. That's in town. Are you an MMA guy?
I am not. Which I kind of maybe I should have gotten into it just from a story idea angle.
Yeah.
But to me, and as a kid, I was never a boxing guy either because by the time I came of age, everything was on pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And that's not something I was going to,
Mom and Dad weren't paying for that.
No.
I said this in my early radio years, and I'll stand by it. I said it then, and people thought I was crazy. Boxing destroyed itself by not being on regular TV when everything else was on regular TV.
Mm-hmm.
If you'd have had Sugar Ray Leonard and Duran and Hearns and even before that, the heavyweights, Foreman and Frazier Ali, if you'd have had them on regular TV, then boxing would not have died the death it did. I firmly believe that.
Oh, yeah.
Because you know what was on regular TV? The Super Bowl, college football, college basketball.
Every other sport.
Every other sport was on regular TV. And boxing said, no, we're going to, though it doesn't matter that everybody else is on, we're not going to be. And I said, at the time, you're going to destroy the fan interest in your sport. Look, successful sports are all about the stars. That's all that matters. If you want ratings, you want dollars, stars matter. And if you can't have stars if nobody knows who your guys are. Okay?
That's UFC's problem right now.
Yeah,
UFC is not doing good whatsoever.
That's why Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano are going to
having to fight again. Yeah.
Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano are going to fight. You know what? Because everybody knows who they are.
There's too many Eastern European guys in UFC. They're all wrestlers. They're from Dagestan. They all have names that you can't say. They're boring as hell to watch.
Yeah.
And that's UFC's issue. Like, they are in a really bad spot. They're on Paramount at least now, so you're not paying like the crazy. They were trying to get a pay-per-view out of you in UFC once a month at least.
Yeah.
It was crazy for a while.
Yeah, and but I'm telling you, that's why Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano, however old they are now, are going to fight.
Yep.
Because that's one people will pay it. Well, because they know them. So we'll see. We'll take a break. We'll say hello to Rick Blue and wrap the program after this.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Games in the NBA playoffs on Saturday. The Cleveland Cavaliers, an 8-point favorite at home against the Toronto Raptors. Toronto plus 265. Cleveland minus 330. Over under 219.5. Denver home at Ball Arena facing the Minnesota Timberwolves. And the Nuggets a 6-point favorite minus 250. Minnesota plus 205 and the over under 231.5. The Knicks home at the Garden, a 5-point favorite against the Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks are plus 184. Knicks minus 220. Over under 216.5. And the Lakers Saturday night hosting the Houston Rockets. Rockets a 5-point favorite minus 220. Lakers plus 184. Over under 206.5.
Progressive helping veterans drive their lives forward. More info, keysofprogress.com.
I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
Your tax refund has plans. A vacation? A flat screen TV? Well, your plumbing has other ideas. If you've been putting off a major repair, this is your chance to get the work done and save money. With the tax refund plumbing upgrade from Duck Rooter, get $500 off any major plumbing repair over $5,000. That's real savings. Duck Rooter delivers honest, upfront pricing and experienced pros who do it right. Call to schedule a free estimate. 904-862-6769 or duckrooter.com. Financing is available.
Picture this. Steaks on the grill, drinks in hand, your crew gathered around a brand new outdoor kitchen. CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living makes it happen. From kitchens to fire pits, they do it all. CSSFireplaces.com. You dream it, they build it.
This is Richard Miller with your Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles Update. Tomorrow is our monthly card show inside Showtime. It'll run from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Lots of choices for sports cards, both graded and raw. Stop by tomorrow for the Showtime Card Show from 9 to 4. It's Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. Update your collection.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
I'm Chris Campione. Auto accidents can leave you feeling lost and overwhelmed. But at Campione Law, we're here to guide you with a personal touch through every step of the process. We don't get paid unless you get paid. CampioneLaw.com.
Count on Campione, Campione Law.
Ready to put your dream car in drive? Get solid rates for the road ahead when you finance with First Florida Credit Union. Enjoy competitive low rates, up to 90 days of no payments and budget-friendly protection plans. Whether you're buying a vehicle or refinancing, stop by a branch or apply online at firstflorida.org/auto loans. Membership eligibility required. Interest accrues during loan payment deferral period. Federally insured by NCUA. Visit firstflorida.org/auto loans.
It's the event everyone waits for, now at Beard's Diamonds. Buy one, get one free on all wedding bands. Save up to $10,000. Beard's has case after case of designer bands for men and women. White gold, yellow gold, rose gold, titanium, and platinum. Buy his, get hers free. Buy hers, get his free. The big box corporate jewelry stores can't do this, but Beard's can. Buy one wedding band, get the second one free. Now through April 19th. Beard's Diamonds, your local jeweler at St. John's Town Center.
Looking for an exciting, fun-filled evening the whole group can enjoy? Welcome to indoor football. Welcome to the Jacksonville Sharks. Discover the thrill of the indoor league. Fast-paced, action-packed, and it's family fun. Be there when your Sharks take on the Orlando Pirates. Friday, April 17th at the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Kickoff, 7 o'clock. Halftime performance by the world-famous Disconnected Canines. Ask about our family four-packs. 4 tickets and $50 in food vouchers, all for only $100. There's no better value. Get your tickets now at jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. It's Country Night presented by Roland Reese Plumbing. Dust off your boots, throw on your camo, get ready for a night full of football fun and great music. Join us on the field after the game for our free autograph session, sponsored by Flight Adventure Park. Tickets start at $15. Call 904-621-0700. That's 621-0700. Sharks football, where memories are made.
Go Sharks!
Fins up.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
So, Ryan, let me ask you a question. You've done some radio now 2 days in a row. You've been here a lot of days. It's not every radio station you come to, and the next guy on the air pulls up his phone, and you see what you just saw.
Is that
true?
That is true. I was expecting a video of Rick saying, "Hey, look at this home run." Instead, it wasn't.
Rick Ballou brought in. You're the best. I mean, you took that video yourself.
I did.
You were the cameraman.
Yeah.
We tell people what
Sweating
it was.
out at the beach. Mike Ortis. It's not Mick Ortis. It's Mike Ortis.
Okay. Rick Ballou. This is Rick Ballou, by the way, for people that don't know.
I thought it was a baby hammerhead.
Yeah.
One thing I love more than anything, it's when our listeners correct me.
Yeah.
They're telling me now, numerous people it's a bonnet head.
Was it on in the water or?
Yeah, right there. Guy was fishing, chumming him up. There's kids everywhere, and he pulls in a shark.
And then somebody was carrying the shark, or?
Yeah, then these girls ran down.
Oh, okay.
Wearing almost nothing. I didn't put that on many of my social medias because, well, I just did.
One for yourself.
Yeah. I didn't need the on a Friday. I didn't need the comments to be made. If it was Monday, I would have gone with it. But I'm getting ready to enjoy the weekend. But
you're the greatest.
But it's very cool. It looks like a baby.
Yeah.
So I put up there and I said, Mama's out there somewhere working. Again, I've been corrected. I've been told that as soon as they are born, the mom's like, get out of here. You're out of my life.
There's nothing better than social media experts. Is there? Isn't it the greatest thing
I got
ever?
this long explanation about exactly what juvenile sharks are fully independent from birth and do not stay near their mother. They receive no parental care. Mothers abandon them immediately.
My question is,
I've been corrected all day today.
I didn't know Jack Hanna followed you.
Yeah, my question is, how did you not know that? I mean, it's unbelievable. All right.
And of course, we got a host of people that have told me that's okay, but we'll just go chest deep, go on out there and see what's going on. So, anyway,
what are you doing on the show tonight?
Well,
Shark Talk.
A lot of good
Shark
stuff.
Week.
Yeah, it is. A lot of great stuff. Obviously the trade that went through. We'll get into that a little bit. Have a draft analyst coming on in 36 minutes. From A to Z Sports to, kind of go through the lay of the land of what he thinks is going to happen as far as first-round movement. And, will the Jags move up just a little bit? Plus, I got another topic that I am absolutely fired up for. So it's going to be a great weekend.
All right. Rick Ballou was in tonight. Thanks, Rick. Ryan, I enjoyed it, buddy.
Thank you, Frank. Will we see you at the stadium next Saturday for rounds 3 through 7?
You will not. Okay, but you might see Mr. Chubby's when Logman and I are doing our network show on Friday night. That you might see.
That will be fun because you just won't be here. You'll be
out and about and having a big
out
time.
And about, and it's the best. It's a cool weekend for fans.
Ryan, I appreciate it, buddy. Thanks. You. Have a great weekend. That'll do it for our program. Rick Ballou is next. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.